joining us. Well, welcome everyone. We're certainly glad and happy to see you this evening. Let me just switch over speaker view. Here we go. And this evening we have a very, very important topic that we want to share with you when it comes to meeting etiquettes. And Tammy, want to share with you some of the things, some of the practices that we have been applying, the things that we've recognized by attending the events of professionals and working with the millionaires and rubbing shoulder with the multimillionaires and the billionaires of this industry. And it's really interesting how much of a fine line and just small, tiny little details will make a difference from not having any results and actually making millions. It's a fine, fine line. And Tammy put together a really good PowerPoint this evening that, we've been revising together, but that will actually give you a really good overview of some of the very interesting and important practices. And it's not going to be a long training at all tonight. And keep in mind that these trainings are all recorded and you can access them on activeteamgroup.com. You can also find out activeteam.com, brings it to the same space. And again, just reminding you that we've revamped our website. When I say completely, we've added a whole lot of section and to help you gather the information that you need to be prepared for your presentation, to be prepared for anything you need to share information with your prospects, either customers or prospects to become associates. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. Tammy, do you have anything else you want to add before we begin?
I'm always excited to get started.
So let's get on with it.
Right. It's been a long day for me. I was one of those 7 a.m. Getting up, doing the 15-minute accountability, and I got up at 6 o'clock this morning and started earlier. So, yeah, and I'm still going. Thank goodness for Max Products. So tonight we're going to share with you, obviously the training is about meeting etiquette and creating engagement, which is really, really important in building your business. So our goal is to make a good impression on guests and of course all the associates who are attending any of the Zoom sessions, whether it is a training session, whether it's an opportunity presentation, could be, you're just doing something specific for your team. It could be a one-on-one. Either way, this information that we're going to be sharing with you is very, very, very important.
So Zoom meeting etiquettes, and understand that a lot of things we're going to share with you, talking about these 5 tips to increase professionalism. You will find that in those days when we used to do hotel meetings, I don't know if you remember, we had to do these trainings where people would sit right in front and they would stand up to be able to go to the washroom and they would slam the door, or they would be on their cell phone in a hallway and making lots of noise. And you know what I mean, to distract the course of the presentation, which lasts anywhere between 30 minutes to 40 minutes or whatever, or 50 minutes. And these are, it's kind of similar things, but in the environment of your Zoom meetings. As you know, this is where we're all gearing towards the future. Even though we're getting into this new normal, we're going to start doing meetings and events again, which we start seeing all over the world, actually. But this online environment, it is so cost effective, it is so efficient, it is so fast, and very cost effective. It's not going to stop. It's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So what we want to talk about is preparation prior to our meeting. Showing up early, it's important. The last minute show up. We understand sometimes people are busy. I get that. But I know myself, I'm always there either 15 minutes to at least 5 minutes prior. This is the way I practice. Having your video on. This is something that we'll talk about, which is very, very important. Engage in enthusiasm, which is also a very important thing. Often people had long days. They're tired. They went to work. They're coming back, and there's a meeting they need to attend. Well, it's nice to attend a meeting where it's kind of refreshing. It gives you a sense of friendship, family, all of these things. We'll talk about that. Be prepared to sign up new customers and associate. See, as you're presenting and as you're sharing information, often we're so kind of accustomed to, well, let's follow up the next time, and overlooking the fact that some people might be ready right now and then. And I see that often, whether there's right questions, how much of the products, how I'd like to make to be able to do that, to make some decisions, and there's nothing available, and by that time that they get it, the person that might be passing down the information may not be prepared to deal with the objections, the question, the reason for pricing, and all of these things. And while you're there as a professional presenting, understanding the products, understanding the value, understanding the reason for pricing, you can really help dealing with a lot of objections. So that's why we're talking about these 5 tips to increase your professionalism and increase your results.
All right, so we're going to have 2 segments on preparation. One is for presenters, and one is for the associates who are attending the event. And so for the presenters is obviously to practice presentation before any opportunity meeting, or of course any training segment, is to practice and make sure that everything's functioning well. Because the last thing you want is to start a presentation and things are not working. So you always need to practice and prepare. Okay, so the lighting is extremely important. See, we got on early. The guys were telling me that my lighting was off. So I had to add the extra light. And the reason why is because when we started, we still had light coming in because it's lighter a little bit later. But now it's dark and everything's good. So the lighting is quite bright now. So make sure that your lighting is really, really well. If you don't have the proper lighting space, buy lights. Invest in your business, because most of your business now is going to be through Zoom. Once you realize the power of presentation through online, then you're going to be doing a lot of it yourselves. And it's not a lot. Just go to Amazon, look at different lighting. If you have any questions, just ask us. We're like literally full. We got the studio all set up in both of our locations in our properties. So we could always give you some guidance of what we've done. You always want to do a sound check as well and make sure everything's functioning before the presentation. You want to set up at least 45 minutes before every meeting begins. Okay, so once you've done all the functional stuff, you can step out for a minute and do what you need to do, but always be prepared to be on the session at least 30 minutes prior, because sometimes people pop in early and you want to make sure people are welcome. Okay, and you let them know that the presentation will be starting in such and such a time. It's always about engagement. So music playing. So I know Chris is really good at this stuff. I'm not, but I'm not going to make an excuse that I don't know how to set up the music. I'm going to figure it out, or I'm going to have my phone with my music going. I'm going to find a way to have some type of a background music. Okay, so you want to create a fun environment for people to come in, especially if they come in early and they're waiting. You want to make sure that there's music playing. It's different when you're doing a training with your team, but still, I think it's a good practice to have some fun with music and everybody enjoying themselves, and to prepare your testimonies in advance to confirm attendance. So sometimes you're going to have people on the presentation that you're doing. You're going to have people that you have lined up to do a testimony, whether it's an opportunity presentation, even on training segments as well. So just so you know, all presentations should be recorded. This is your inventory. Marcel and Ruth were blown away on how much material that Chris and I have put together over the years. We've had other people say it too. You just go on YouTube and it's like zoom, 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 zoom. So you want to be practicing this, is to record your stuff, have an inventory, start building a YouTube channel, because you'll start getting recognized out there, and it's all about that recognition.
Now, Tammy, I want to talk just a few little things when it comes to lighting. Um, just to be specific, if you have the sun behind you, like sometime you have the window and the sun blasting, right? And then your laptop is facing you and the sun, what happens is we can't see your face. And it's a turnoff, right? So because people can't see you. So just turn your laptop around and have the sun face you, and then your eyes are going to glow. It's just amazing the difference, right? So have the sun face you. Never, never, never have a light bulb or the sun right behind you. It will completely ruin your appearance. Okay, so keep that in mind. Very, very, very important. Now, when it comes to the music, you have to be careful because I know that many of you now are starting to do Facebook Live, and you're going to be saving some of your videos on YouTube, and then you're going to get all these royalty free these royalty warnings, and and it's very annoying. So and not only that, but if you abuse that and you do it too often, they may suspend your account for a period of time, which is could be quite devastating if you have an organization and that's your only line of communication. So be careful with that. And that's the reason why, for example, right now on the last 5 minutes, as we get to the top of the hour, I will select some what we call royalty free music. And this is relatively easy to find. And you don't have to pay anybody for that. I do pay someone, a website, $10 a month to have access to videos and, pictures and all of these stuff. And I have to fill in a few little forms to make sure that this music can be used for me personally, but not public, you can do publicly, but for me personally, not for a big corporation with 100,000 people watching. There's certain rules that you need to follow. But the fact here is, it's important to be mindful, to be aware of the royalties when it comes to using music. Now, if you use, for example, I use Apple Music, which is not royalty free. This costs. So, because this is like, the best of the best, the most recent. And what happens is I share it on, right now, there is absolutely no issues with Zoom. I'm sure there's a time limit and eventually it's going to come in and then it's going to block. And when that happens, we'll figure it out. But for now, you can do it. But the moment you're sharing this into a live, like a Facebook environment, which is public, then you cannot play that music anymore. And if you do, you'll notice sometime it works. You're allowed to go, 15 to 20 to 30 seconds. I wouldn't even go 30 seconds. And just to have kind of like an intro, you can use that. And I've done that often, and there has been no issue. So I know for a fact you can go up to 15 to 20 seconds, and you're fine with that. So that's what I want. And the other point that Temi talked about when it comes to recording your presentations, listen, I don't use all the recordings that we have, but very often I will record. Well, let me rephrase that. I record everything, and very often I will use segments of some of the recordings to something that I did. Now that I hired someone to help me deal with all of these things, it becomes extremely important for us. In fact, they keep telling us, Chris, Tammy, we need some content. We need some content. We need some content. So we're constantly recording ourselves for that reason, and we're creating a huge database of these recordings. And if you're using the same service that we're using with the Zoom, I don't know, $12 a month there with that service that we're using through, I forgot what the name of the company is, Working Live or something like that. If you need more information, I'll give it to you. The point here is you have unlimited space for recordings, okay, unlimited. So, and one thing that I do is I go in and I start naming these recordings to make sure that when I go back 6 months down the line, I remember what this is. And then you can download different versions, and sometimes you can decide. Again, this is a bit more technical, but I want you to be aware of these things as you are using music and lighting and things. But be very mindful of the light behind you. Don't be careful with that. Make sure the light is in front of you and not behind the camera. Okay. So Tammy, you can go ahead and talk about the preparation for associates.
All right. So, preparation for associates, you want to show up early for greeting. And this is really important because when people have guests, and you will have guests sometime, And you want to make sure that the guests are not showing up to an empty room because they showed up a bit early. So it's important that we all support each other and show up a bit early, and just be present. That's what's really important. Mute your microphone unless you're speaking. So always have your microphone on mute. All right, unless somebody calls your name or you are one of the speakers. Lighting, again, doesn't matter if you're a presenter or an attendee. It's important to have proper lighting. I can tell you, people are going to get distracted by the people that are in the group. So you want to make sure that you are, properly set up as well. And you want to keep video on and be present. This one is really important. We can't stress this one enough, because if you're cooking in the kitchen, if you're doing something in your home, I get it, ladies, I'm busy too, but you have to take this time to and schedule it to be part of the presentation itself. It's for everybody, right, that's showing up and bringing guests. And any little distraction that the guests will have, it takes them away from the focus of the presentation. And this is whether you're live in a boardroom or you're on Zoom. Same concept. And you want to be energetic, and you want to be enthusiastic and engaging as well when the presenters are going on. This will also elevate the excitement for your guests. If you guys as associates are popping out hearts, writing in the chat, this engagement is important, not for the presenter, but for the people who are evaluating this opportunity, or brand new, as a brand new associate, and they're showing up to their very first training session. You want to make sure that we're showing the presence of a Max family, great culture, welcoming each other, and it's very important. And you want to prepare, again, if you are a person who's doing a testimony at any event, make sure that you're prepared to do that. Show up early, practice before it starts with whoever's hosting that event, and make sure that everything's set up. Your microphone's good, your lighting's good, and everything's good. And again, all presentations should be recorded. I'm telling you, you are going to leverage so much on this stuff down the road, you won't believe it. And we know now because it's happening. Showing up early to greet everyone. We just talked about that. That's number 2 in the process. So look at this guy. Is it not welcoming? If you think it's welcoming, thumbs up in the reaction buttons. Thumbs up if you find it welcoming. And that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that we're creating that culture of excited to see each other, happy, loving to be part of this. And so that's what we want to be doing on a regular basis, not just because this training's done and next week we better do it, and then we just fall into a habit and a pattern of the past. It's time to make changes. And of course, we talked videos on, and you can see the engagement in this group. Everybody's happy to see each other. Everybody's got good lighting. You can see the engagement just with their body language right there. And I wanted to talk about this section for the Zoom. I know most of you who are on this, some of you are catching this, are Facebook Live, that may not have set up your profile picture and your name when you go into the Zoom session. So get your Zoom, obviously, free account, and then click on the profile, put your profile picture, put your name, so everybody knows who you are when you show up. Because often you'll see that. You'll see somebody show up that's a iPhone something, or you just don't know who they are. So, and then you click on save. Even if they can't keep their video on the whole time, depending on what country you're in, sometimes, it can be challenging. Just go on and you can go off. Anybody who has an emergency that comes up and you have to leave the chair wherever you're present in the video, please go off video. Okay, because sometimes things will happen. You have to catch a phone call. Remember, all of these things are distracting to people that are watching. Enthusiastic and engaging. This on the left, have a look at this guy. Sometimes you see people show up and they're yawning and they're kind of all over the place, and then there's people that are just so engaging and fun, and you just want to be connected. So that's the kind of environment that we want to create moving forward. I know a lot of you are like this already with this beautiful woman who's just happy to be here. We know you're always excited to show up on Monday night training, and this is how you want to present yourself every single time, whether it's a presentation opportunity or training. Don't just show up. It's like, oh, another training again, or oh, another opportunity.
We know.
I've heard this over and over and over again. Yes, and the reason that you're hearing it over and over again is so that you can be a presenter. So when you show up to a presentation as an associate, it's to learn so that you can present. You can do your one-on-ones comfortably. You can start showing up to do the presentations and not show up to do a portion of the presentation all nervous. You got to practice. How do you think we got better? Right? That's how you do it. So how you show up matters to these events and for yourself. You want to do this one, Chris, or you want me to?
Yeah, sure. So number 5, and we talked about, is be prepared to sign up a new associate and customer. And folks, this is all mindset. And of course, we know that most people are going to want to think about it and figure things out and look things through and maybe try the product. But this is the thing, is while they are there listening to you, if they've seen the video, if they've seen some information prior, if you follow the guidelines that we share with you into the prospecting aspect, if, for example, use the gocmax.com, which has 2 videos. The first one is kind of the company video, the environment, and what's been going on from the pandemic to today, and it's a great little introduction. And then it finishes with a science video. And for people that come back and you really want more, then I'm going to turn around and send them to the maxlook.info. This one has a phenomenal testimony. It's about 9 minutes, but it's from the Ghanaian culture with a lot of great stories that's been put together. Looks very professional. I added this in there. And also there is the part 1 and part 2 of the full presentation, right? There's some people that's what they saw. In fact, one of the gentlemen that we signed up in Malaysia, that's what he did. He said to go see Max first. He wanted more information. I sent him to maxlook.info. From that point on, when we set a meeting on the Zoom, we were pretty much ready to sign him up. And because in Malaysia, we're not familiar with the detail in Malaysia, we use a third-party credibility, which was Rachel from Malaysia. You guys, we introduced her to you about a month ago or so, and she helped us making sure that he, is properly informed, because we don't want this person to be signed up. And that's another thing. And how we do things specifically, but how did you do things in Malaysia? And on top of that, how do we, because I don't want to change things, like you do things a certain way in the Philippines, you do in a certain way in Ghana, Nigeria, but at the end of the day, it's the same presentation. And a lot of teams have adopted this, but there is still some content, some approaches based on economy, cultural differences, and so forth. So this is why I use a third-party credibility, but set up your Zoom right after a presentation, right? Right after, I know you've heard Olga and Paul and others that right after the presentation, we jumped into a Zoom and we started doing some Q&As, building some rapport and all of that. And so ask leaders for assistance for third-party validation, right? Prepare this. You got to treat your business as a business. And you also have to take ownership of your business. So that's the reason why we have the presentation on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. We have the presentation on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We have the presentation on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And during the week, we have one presentation at 1 o'clock on the Go for the Crown Diamond Global Impact Group, which every single day there's trainings there. I know we repeat this a lot. And prepare them to walk them through and the sign-up process. This is where the real work begins. And if you say, you know what, let's talk next week, by next week, they forgot your first name. They don't know who this is all about. They forgot all of the life got in the way. So, and this could be the reason why you're having a very hard time converting people. There's too many gaps in between each conversation to the next. You gotta really minimize these gaps and get closer to the point where they're ready to make a move, which either become a customer or an associate. Okay.
Yeah, so just so you know, every single time I meet somebody for a one-on-one after they watch the videos, I'm going to automatically take them to the website. And I click on join. And I walk them through the process. If they would want to be a customer, if they would want to be an associate, I walk them through the process, even before they've made a decision. And I also walk them through the Active Team website, just showing them the professionalism and the environment where they'll thrive with a training platform. So you're actually helping with some objections that they might have is, well, I don't know what to do. So you've just helped them. Active Team, training platform, a whole team support platform, and how to sign up. You literally showed them how to sign up. So these are the things that I do in my prospecting process. I don't even wait for them to ask me, or I don't engage them in, so are you ready to get started? I just bring them to the stuff, the information, and they make decisions. I just want to.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done, Tammy. Continue.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's what I want to share.
So basically, the global impact starts with you, folks. It really starts with you. I mean, if you think about it, if Tammy and I didn't do certain steps that we've done in the past, I mean, who knows where Max would be here today? Maybe they wouldn't be in Africa. We don't know. Maybe someone else would. But the fact here is it all starts with you. And take ownership of your business. And I want to give you an example. Let me just kind of shift this over one moment. Okay. Oh, let me just 1 second here. Everything's going crazy here. Just one moment. Let me just bring that over here. Okay. Can you guys, yeah, you see that? I can see on the Facebook Live. Okay, yeah. So this here is a team website. And as you noticed, it's been updated. It's very similar, the resource. I'm not going to go through all the details because it's there. You can go through this. But the point, the one point I want to share with you here is this event. Okay. Right now, we have the Monday call event. We have the Thursday event. And we have the Tuesday event. And that's because Linda actually sent me the details for her event. And all you need to do is click that button. When you click send, it will basically obviously initiate your email. And we just need your flyer. Okay. If you need help for the first time, I don't mind helping you. But honestly, this is not something that I want to spend a lot of time doing. Many of you are familiar. This is done on Canva. We have this template. I can send you the template. All you need to do is change your picture and change the time and date and the link if it's, if you need to have a different link. Okay. Right now we're using the Active Team webinar and they're here. So the reason why the link is kind of, it's not that important anymore because now you can click on here and join. They can join right from there. Okay. I know Lucy has a different link. With the French, right? So I look forward, Lucy, to get your details so I can add it over here. So I don't mind. I mean, this can go till infinity, right? So we want to have obviously as many presentations as we can, and people can see, oh, Tuesday I can attend, oh, Wednesday I can attend. And on the left-hand side here, and again, it's just, the most, it's like the pin board, right? That Marcel was explaining. This is a current promotion that we're having with a training on how to take advantage of that. That's a training how to reach your core rank, which is right in line with the promotion, right? And this is how to onboard a new customer, or from a customer to an associate, how to do the conversion. And these trainings are going to vary, okay? So at the end of the day, what's important here is that you use the tools that are available to you. And one thing that's very important, let me just change this over here. 1 second. Okay. The thing that's very important is Tammy and I want to help you own your business and not becoming a shadow of Chris and Tammy. Obviously we're all part of the same team, and Tammy and I are going, we're not going to go anywhere, in the sense that we're always going to be by your side. Don't get me wrong. We want you to have your own space. It's like your own family, your own children, which would be your associates, and the own culture. And we're plugged into the active team environment. But at the end of the day, we want you, if you need a name, whatever works for you is fine. You can stay plugged in. My point here is for you to grow and to pass bronze to get to silver. You need to create a culture around you and your business. And to pass silver, to get gold, you need to have people in your team to do the same thing, that are reaching the bronze, that are getting to senior associate. And to get to platinum, which is really a fine line from platinum to diamond, is now you're falling into a role of leadership, and you have other people in your team that are leaders that are doing the same thing. That's how you move up in rank. Okay. Otherwise, the level bronze is what you're going to live with till you die, because you need to create an environment around you to create culture for them to evolve and grow. And Tammy and I want to do all that we can to help you to do that. That's why the active team, it starts with you taking action on clicking that link and says, okay, this is my event, this is my presentation segment, and that's when you present. But you also have to remember, Chris and Tammy are not going to promote your events. It will be promoted through the culture of active team within the Max, obviously, environment. But you need to do your promotion. You probably noticed lately, Tammy and I do a lot of posts lately on Instagram. And trust me, for me, that was like pulling teeth, like going through a root canal to do a video on Instagram. But now I'm posting things. It started with the trainings in the morning, and it's becoming more and more and more. Now it's actually, oh, no big deal. Here we go. I'll do. And this is what we want you to transform. As a matter of fact, I know that many of you have done your first live that Tammy actually has put together and promoted. Congratulations. That's what we want. We want to help you kind of spread your wings and evolve. So that's kind of comes to the end of our training segment this evening. Tammy, you want to add anything else to it?
Yeah, so if you're really wanting to step up your game on social media, Saturday morning is the time. It's like anything, where you commit to your business. This is it. This is a part that you put on your schedule from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I think we even changed the time. We'd go from 8:30 to 9:30, and then 9:30 to 10. So we make sure that we get everybody in there in scheduling, because that's really important. Most people don't schedule because they don't know what to schedule. They don't know what kind of content to put. We're doing this on Saturdays. That's what we do. And then we're learning new things, and we're applying it together and cheering each other on as we do it. So if you haven't participated yet, you really want to be part of that if you want to grow on social media. Okay? I think that was about, I wanted, as we're kind of wrapping up this presentation, I wanted to ask a question. Who needs a training on how to set up a Zoom, schedule a meeting, how to put a PowerPoint up on your desktop to create a share screen? How many people need...
How to share your music and all of these things? Just put it in the chat, because right now everybody's muted. Put it in the chat. Sorry, Tammy. I just want to make sure that
if you need support on that, because our goal is to teach you how to do this stuff.
Okay, so Barry, Luce, Alice, Okay. Okay, Allison. Wonderful. Okay, good. So
Okay.
support with the music. Yeah. And of course, we can do different segments so we don't overwhelm you with too much push. Just one step. Just do one step. Learn something good and practice that one thing opposed to 10 things that you try to remember how to do. So Tammy and I are going to discuss the timing and when, and would love to work with you on that. I know that Mary Paul, we've created a list at one point, and I know you did a procedure, and maybe I could even use that as a foundation, as a training format, because it described everything that I do to prepare for a webinar. Downloading the VLC player, which is free. I mean, it's really easy. And any one of you probably at one point have downloaded an MP3 or an MP4, which is video and sound. And maybe some of you have no idea what that is. That's totally, don't worry about it. We can walk you through the details. It's not a big deal. So what Tammy and I are going to do is going to figure out an agenda. And now that we know that there's some interest there, because adding music, it's not 100% obvious. And you do need to be careful with royalty, okay? Royalties. So these are things that we need to talk about, and where to get the music and all of these things. I can help you with this. Keep in mind, if you want some really cool stuff, it's not free, right? Everybody's trying to make a living, and it's going to be a $5 a month, a $10 a month. These are some of the investments you might be prepared to do, or maybe not. Then again, you may have some music that you own, but then again, if it's music that you own that you want to do on Facebook Live, then it becomes a problem because now you're promoting this publicly. So now there's royalty issues. So these are things that we can talk about and have quite a bit of experience, because I step in every potholes possible since the beginning in doing this. I can certainly help you avoid those mistakes. So that's a good point, Tammy, and I'm glad you've done that, because folks, the music is a very important aspect, and I'm learning constantly. Another thing too, I may suggest for you to do is YouTube is my library. It's my go-to place to learn everything. I'm telling you, folks, a lot of you think that I know all this stuff. I didn't have a clue how to do many of these things until I saw a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 12-year-old literally showing me how to do certain things. And I mean, that's what they do 24/7. I don't have time to learn, but I can watch a video and duplicate what they do. So I'd love to, to share some of that information, and it's really not hard, but you need to practice. You can't do it one time and come back when it's your turn and expect to do it perfectly. You're gonna be dealing with the pressure of the time. It's gonna be a mess. So you need to practice, right? And it completely changed your environment, right? Having a bit of music and everything, instead of having a completely empty webinar with no sound, with nothing going on, no pictures, no videos, and things like that. So that comes to the end of our session.
Chris, even to do a one-on-one without music, to be able to share your screen, pull up the
Yes.
PowerPoint, and know exactly what you need to go through for people. I think these are really important things. I think the game stopper is because I don't know how. Am I correct? When we don't know how, we don't do.
Well, the confused mind stands still. I've been saying that for years, and that's a fact. But remember, folks, that I know I keep repeating myself, but YouTube is free. And it's not free for the people promoting, but it's free for the viewers. And the people who create the video, they get paid when viewers watch. It's one of the most brilliant way of doing or making money online. So what am I saying is, because they get paid very well if the content is very highly professional and very useful, then you'll notice that they have hundreds of thousands of viewers, and they have tens of thousands of people in our groups, right? So that's when these are good indication that these are good videos to watch in the context of what you're looking for. How do I share music on Zoom? That's what I did. And it's, that's easy. Boom, 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 bada boom, bada bing, done. Right? So it's just that in our mind, we think it's complicated, but it is not. We create this fear. So, but I'm very, very open to share with you some of those things. And we'll have some segments. It'll be 15 5-minute segments. And you know what, Tammy, another thing we'll do is we'll record those segments and we'll add it to the collection of active teams. As you notice, we got gazillions of videos, and it's just the beginning. That library is going to grow, and eventually we'll have to do an index and a search to help you find things. But again, everything we do is recorded, so we can have segments of this recording. One thing that Eric Worre shared is document your journey. It will make you millions. And as of January 3rd, 2022, this is what Tammy have been doing. The Crown Diamond Global Impact, everything is documented. Every single day of the 90-day run is documented forever. So we have our own channel. The videos are there. We have a little kind of cue card slides that summarize the events. We're going to create a whole series of trainings around that. So someone who's brand new, that just don't know anything, that's never done this kind of business, by the time they exit this corridor of the 90-day run, they're going to be professionals like a millionaire, everything that millionaires do and know. So this is what we want to do, is automate the system to facilitate. And guess what? For you, as Tammy said earlier, as you are sponsoring and presenting, it's going to be a selling feature to add on to the person that you are, the relationship you have with this person, the product, the opportunity you're adding. It creates a whole package that people will want to be part of, because it is something that they can plug into and learn and evolve from.
Yeah, and you can create a 90-day run or a 30-day sprint with your team members anytime you want, and the material is there. It's done.
Okay.
Almost.
So Tammy, what I recommend here is I'm going to save the chat, because there's a lot of requests that were made. For example, Barry, just how do you add a PowerPoint, and Susan, just add music, and so we'll create, and we'll have a checklist that we're going to turn around and check off. And then these are going to help us giving you some contents to do all of these things. And we'll let you know when it happens. It may not be a scheduled things that is on Monday or Saturday. It could be something out of the blue. We'll have a flyer going, and it'll be a 5-minute segment and whatever. So we'll let you guys know, but this is very helpful. And thank you, Luce. I really appreciate your feedback. I know you participate in everything that we've been doing, and I know many of you also are doing. Congratulations for doing that, and we really appreciate you. But again, as a close, on the active team, I would really like to promote your presentation event. The more presentation we have available, you're rendering a service to your Max society, but in the same time, it gives you a platform for you to shine, for you to promote. Remember, you've got to promote your events, and you can use other presenters' events to, if let's say your time is not the most convenient, or you can use the recordings of past events, even a recording of yourself of a segment that you really like that you've done, that you can pass on to someone else. So all we're saying is that it's for you to treat your business as a business and prepare, and we're ready to help you get this done. Okay, so this comes to an end, and we want to thank you everybody for attending this evening. Really appreciate you. And we look forward to our next session. So everybody have a great evening. And then don't forget, tomorrow we are what do you call it, Tammy? The podcast. We were featured with a multimillionaire, a veteran of this industry that wanted to interview Tammy and I. They got our name from some leaders from another network marketing company, and said, sure, we'll love to do that. So it's going to be live as of tomorrow. So not live. It's a recorded session that will be activated as of tomorrow. So the emails and the links are going to be promoted. So stay tuned for our Instagram accounts and our Facebook and on Active Team group Facebook page. It's all there. Okay. And it's a great recording. I think you'll enjoy it. So I hope that you guys will participate. Okay. Thanks for the hi, guys, on Facebook Live. So everybody, have yourself a great evening. Bye for now.